Okay, it's 5 o'clock. We'll call the meeting of the Bernie Independent School District Board of Trustees to order. We'll see if we have a quorum. On my left, we have Mrs. Jessica Davila, we have Mr. Garrett Wilson, we have our superintendent, Dr. Thomas Price, myself, Rich Senna, Carlin Fryer, Donna Sharp, and Dr. Joe Tidwell. So we do have a quorum. So at this point, we're going to go into closed session to discuss personnel pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, deliberation regarding matters related to employment, appointments, resignations, terminations, retirements, and reassignments. So it is now 5:01, and we're going into closed session. No.
Test, test. Sir, can you tell Wes to like talk into the mic? Test, 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 test. Look, see, I'm not even like close to the mic, and you can hear me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's 6:30, so we'll now call to order our regular meeting of the Bernie Independent School District Board of Trustees. We have a quorum. We have Mrs. Maritza Gonzalez-Cooper, Jessica Davila, Garrett Wilson, our superintendent, Dr. Price, myself, Rich Senna, Carlin Fryer, Donna Sharp, and Joe Tidwell. So we have a quorum, and we will now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Would you please rise and join the award-winning Bernie champion JROTC for the presentation of colors?
Colors. Hope. Present. Colors.
We are proud to be led tonight in the Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge by the Currington Cougar Student Council.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Port. Arms. Colors. Post. Colors turn. Arch.
And now, please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. President Senna, Dr. Price, Board of Trustees, our Currington Cougar Student Council have some fantastic questions for our Board of Trustees. So ladies, please take it away.
Okay, and if you could first introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Libby Dayog. I am the Currington Elementary Student Council President. So I have a question for y'all. It is, when the school board makes decisions, do y'all work independently or together?
That's a really good question. We have votes when issues come up, whether it's to adopt a budget or to establish a policy. We do vote, and we have discussions beforehand. So yeah, you got to work together as a team, by all means.
Hi, my name is Tresley Tomlinson, and I am Vice President of Student Council. And my question is, why did you guys decide to become a board member?
Who would like to answer that?
Why is everybody staring at me?
Because you're on the end.
I guess thank you for y'all's questions, especially from any of the elementary schools that come, are always the hardest. So this one really isn't that hard a question, though. I have, from here, went to Bernie schools, got 4 kids in Bernie schools, and figured it was something that I might be able to help out with. And that's pretty much it. Just want the schools, which I thought when I first ran were already great, and wanted to be a part of that and see if we could even make them better.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Sarah Hamilton, and I'm the Vice President of Currington Elementary School Student Council. My question for y'all today is, as a member of the school board, who is your boss and who do you work for?
That's a really good question. Our bosses are the people of this community. That's who elects us, and it's not just parents, it's folks that don't have kids in the schools, it's residents, it's taxpayers, And our focus has got to be on the students. First and foremost, what's in the best interests of our students? How can we give them the best possible educational experience that's available in the state of Texas or in the nation? We want what's best for you guys. So anybody else want to add to that?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sarah Kay.
My name is Lily Dorsonia. I'm the Currington Student Council Secretary. So my question for you is, what is the most important or one of your favorite things you have done as a school board member?
I'll turn this over to somebody else, but then I'll answer it at the end. Who would like to answer that question?
You know, I enjoy the board workshops that we do. We do a lot of training as a board together. The state of Texas mandates that, and it's also just best practices to learn what, you know, how districts run and what other districts around the state are doing. And so a couple times a year we go to these conferences where we get together with school boards from all over the state, all the school boards in the state. And there's what, 1,200 school boards roughly in the and everybody just shares ideas and best practices and says, here's what we're doing in our district, and you might want to try it in your district. And so that's always a lot of fun to see what other people are doing and try to improve the district by getting other ideas out there.
I love graduation. I think since serving on the board, just seeing all of our students that put in the hard work from kinder whenever they got here till their senior year, just watching them cross to that next phase of their life. Graduation's my absolute favorite. Whether I'm on the stage or in the stands, just seeing our students go to that next phase of their life. That's definitely my favorite.
Anybody else? I would echo what they said. There's a lot of other things that are favorites, but I have to say one of my all-time favorite things, and you don't have to be a board member to do this, but one of the things I enjoy the most that reminds me why we do what we do is when I go to Currington Elementary to read to Mrs. McCone's first grade class, which I've been doing for 6 years now, and I believe the 3 of the 4 of you were in her class. Are you 5th graders now?
Yeah.
I cannot believe y'all are 5th graders now. And it is a joy to see how excited you are about learning, and you always ask good questions and are very engaged. So that really just touches my heart and reminds us why we do what we do. Great questions.
You.
And good luck this year. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the agenda? We have a motion and a second. Any other? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Mr. Benway, I think we're on to commendations, are we not?
Yes, sir. President Senna, Dr. Price, Board of Trustees, our esteemed guests, thank you so much for being here tonight. This is the part that I truly love because we get to honor the very best in Boerne ISD. So we invite our president and our trustees and Dr. Price to come down for our photos to give you a preview of tonight. There's a large audience in here, and believe it or not, we have 4 commendations tonight. Typically, we have between 8 and 10. The reason why there's so many of you here is because over 80 students are honored in just one commendation. So that's a really neat thing. Overall tonight, we have over 100 student and staff commendations. So this is where we get to honor our students and staff for all the great things that they do. So we'll start it off tonight. Our first commendation, we congratulate the 2022 National Merit Scholarship students from Boerne and Champion High School. Let's hear it for these fine students. Champion senior Amy Stewart has been named a National Merit Scholarship semifinalist, while 7 Chargers and 4 Greyhounds were named National Merit Commended Scholars. Semifinalists are the highest scoring program entrants in each state and represent the top 5% of the state's senior students. Students complete an application to be considered for National Merit Finalists, which are announced in February of 2023. Commended students are named based on a nationally applied selection index score. Around 34,000 students receive letters of commendation. These students are some of the top academically performing students, not only in Texas, but in the United States. Congratulations to the 2022 National Merit Scholarship students from Bernie and Champion High School. And if we have the parents and supporters of these students, please raise your hands. We want to thank you for being here tonight. Thank you all. Congratulations. Thank you all for being here tonight. And now this is our big commendation. This honors a total of nearly 80 students from Champion and Bernie High Schools who have earned academic honors from the College Board National Recognition Programs. Let's give them a round of applause. National recognition programs grant underrepresented students with academic honors that can be included on college and scholarship applications and connect students with universities across the country, helping them meaningfully connect to colleges and stand out during the admissions process. Colleges and scholarship programs identify students awarded National African American, Hispanic, Indigenous, and/or rural and small town recognition through College Board's student service. Students who may be eligible have a GPA of 3.5 or higher and have excelled on the PSAT or PSAT 10, earned a score of 3 or higher on 2 or more AP exams, and are African American, Hispanic American, Indigenous, and/or attend school in a rural area or small town. And the number of students in BISD receiving this honor tonight has increased from 65 students last year to over 80 this year. A great improvement for the district and for these students. So congratulations to the 2022 College Board National Recognition students. And now let's have fun trying to figure out how to take this photo. If we could, I know a lot of you are here, parents of our fine students, could you raise your hands too? We want to make sure we thank you for your support of these students. And we would also ask that you stay for the entirety of commendations so you don't have 100 people leaving the room at the same time. We have 2 more left. So we want to make sure it's an orderly end of commendations. Parents, did you get some photos of your students? If you want to stand up and come up and get some pictures, if you're in a bad spot, please do that too. We want to make sure that you get photos tonight. And I think our official photograph is good to go. Let's give a big hand for these outstanding students from Bernie and Champion High School. And you can file out to your left, students. Thank you very much. And thank you to all the parents and supporters of these fine students that are here tonight as well. We appreciate all of your support. For our next commendation, we recognize 7 Bernie ISD schools ranked in the 2023 Niche Top 25 Best Schools Rankings. Principals, please come on up if you have your awards with you. Bernie and Champion High Schools were ranked in the top 25 best public high schools in the San Antonio area, coming in at number 6 and number 16, respectively. Let's give a hand for Bernie and Champion. Bernie Middle School South and Bernie Middle School North ranked 8th and 15th overall in the top 25 best middle school category. Let's hear it for North and South. Three Bernie ISD elementary schools made the top 25. Fair Oaks Ranch came in at 8th, Cibolo Creek 13th, and Van Rob 18th. They were all in the top 25. Let's hear it for our elementary schools in the top 25 rankings. In addition, Bernie ISD was ranked the 3rd best school district in the San Antonio area and the 2nd best traditional or non-charter district. Let's give a hand for the district and our great staff. According to Niche, the 2023 Best Schools ranking is based on a rigorous analysis of key statistics and millions of reviews from students and parents using data from the U.S. Department of Education. Ranking factors include state test scores, college readiness, graduation rates, SAT and ACT scores, teacher quality, and high school ratings. So once again, let's hear it for our schools ranked in the top 25 Niche ratings. And thank you all parents who are here tonight for your support, for supporting these fine students and the schools as well. And our final commendation tonight honors Cibolo Creek Elementary School Resource Officer Ryan Cook. Come on up, Officer Cook. And we would also like to invite Bernie Chief of Police Steve Perez to come up as we honor Officer Cook. Let's give Chief Perez a hand. Officer Cook was awarded the first ever City of Bernie Values Award for Excellence. She began with Bernie PD as a records clerk before moving to the Criminal Investigations Division. She then trained to become a police officer and is the current school resource officer at Cibolo Creek. Officer Cook continues to spark a desire in others while maintaining the same degree of excellence in her work. And our Superintendent, Dr. Price, presented Officer Cook with a Superintendent Proclamation on Friday as well. Let's give a great hand to Officer Cook. And where's Officer Cook's family? Are they here? Can we wave? There they are, right in the front row. Great job, guys. Thanks for being here to support your mom. Let's give one more hand to Officer Cook and all of our law enforcement. Thank you all for your support. And all that concludes commendations. So if you were here for commendations and you want to head out, now is your chance. Thank you so much for being here. And President Sena, I will yield the floor back to you.
Okay, so we've gotten the video. Okay, Brian. So I guess our next agenda item is our video.
Yes, sir. We have the Bernie ISD video highlight. We're going to see 3 separate videos. We're going to see a Hispanic Heritage Month vignette, which just passed. We're going to see the BEF Wow moment and our October Student Limelight recipient, which we are very excited about. So let's take a look at the Bernie ISD video highlight.
Bernie ISD celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month by recognizing the achievements and contributions of members in our community. Bernardo Guerrero is a student at Bernie High School. He was born and raised in Bernie along with his parents and 4 sisters. Bernardo is a student athletic trainer for the football, volleyball, basketball, and baseball teams. He is also a member of Health Occupation Students of America, which empowers future health professionals to become leaders in the global health community through education, collaboration, and experience. Bernardo is a model student in the district and in the community along with his family, who means everything to him. After high school, he plans to attend college to study kinesiology and athletic training, and hopefully come back to Bernie ISD and be a head athletic trainer. This Hispanic Heritage Moment is sponsored by Cibolo Family Medicine.
Hi, my name is Preston, and welcome to Herf Elementary School. Today's wow moment will be in Miss Burton's library, where the students are learning to code with B-bots.
I got my grant for 12 B-bots, and we use those for our littles, so our kinder, first, and second grade students. The students are learning to code the robots, and they are learning to understand that the coding is a program, and they can program the robots and that they are in control of the robot. They absolutely love them. Every time I have either the B-bots out or another type of robot, they always get super excited, and everyone is very involved in programming the robots.
Wow, that's so awesome. Thank you for supporting every student, every teacher, and every school in Bernie ISD.
This month's Limelight recipient is Annie Mayo, an 8th grader at Bernie Middle School South. Annie is a model student both in and out of the classroom. She excels in her academics as she takes AP classes. She also plays volleyball and is a member of PE Pals, where she assists special needs students. Outside of school, she volunteers with younger students at Mission Hills Church Sunday School, plays club volleyball, and more. Her friends see her as a great role model for younger students. She is a leader both on and off the campus. Annie's career goal is to become a realtor. Congratulations to this month's Limelight recipient, Annie Mayo.
President Senna, we would like to introduce you and the board and our audience to our Limelight of the Month. Please welcome Annie Mayo. Come on up, Annie. Here's your certificate. And if you can stand right here, I know she was a little bit nervous, I was told, but the board has some questions for you, Annie. So President Senna, take it away.
First of all, I'm amazed that you're in the 8th grade. You've accomplished a lot, and you're also very tall. So I can see why you're on the volleyball team. What questions do we have for Annie?
I was wondering, could you tell us a little bit about what the how it's been and how you got started with the PE pals?
So I just in 7th grade, I heard a lot about it. You can take it as an 8th grader, and I had some 8th grade friends that did it, and I put in an application because I was excited and I love working with kids and everything, and I put in an application, and I got in, and so far it's been so good, and I really enjoy it.
I just think that's great, and thank you for stepping up to do that. I know I joke around a lot. I talk about how I think kids these days all the time are a lot better than when I was around. I think Carlin would just tell me maybe you were running with the wrong crowd. But I think that's one, incredible to you. Thank you so much, and also just that we have to apply. We have kids having to apply in order to be able to help other kids, which I think is great. And so just thank you so much for being a leader in that.
Welcome.
So tell us about your volleyball experience and who's the greatest competitor that is playing against you guys right now?
Well,
because I know North and Voss are listening.
Well, I'm on B team this year. I was on A team last year, and last year it was Kerrville. They're really good, and we lost to them in districts, and so we got 2nd place and they got 1st. But this year, my team, we've only lost 1 game, and it was against North. So, yeah, but it's been really good, and it's been really fun.
Good.
So, Annie, what makes you decide, you've already decided you want to be a realtor. Tell me a little bit about why you decided that.
I've always really been interested in that kind of things, that kind of stuff, and I've seen a couple of shows, and it just seems so interesting, and I enjoy it, and I just like looking at houses and everything. So
Great. Any other questions for Annie? Well, thank you for being a leader.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
And President Senna, if I may, we want to thank Annie's parents for being here tonight, too. So let's give them a round of applause for being here as well. Thank you very much. President Senna, I yield the floor to you, sir.
Really quick, Mr. Benway, is the young man who narrated, especially the second little vignette, is he here? Preston?
No, he's not here.
No, he's not here tonight, sir.
Well, you should be scared for your job.
I'm scared every day. We have talented students here, and one of them's going to take my job in 20 years, I hope.
Okay, let's see. Next, there's nothing from closed session. Visitor comments. Okay, we have 2 visitors, so let me address the ground rules here. First, the board encourages comments about the district from citizens of the district or from district employees. Anyone wishing to speak, either as an individual or as a representative of a group, may do so at this time. The board asks that each participant's comments pertain to public education and be no longer than 3 minutes. Overall time limit for comments is 30 minutes. Remember that the board may not discuss or act upon any issues that are not posted on our agenda. If an issue mentioned is listed on tonight's agenda, the board will defer discussion of that issue until the appropriate time during the meeting. And the board encourages the public to discuss concerns with an appropriate administrator who has the authority to address the concerns. Concerns should be expressed as soon as possible to allow early resolution at the lowest possible administration level. And finally, please be aware that there will be rules of decorum will be enforced during public comments. So we have 2 speakers. The first is Susanna Hogan. Ms. Hogan, come on up.
Hello, I'm back. Mr. President, Dr. Price, members of the board, I'm PFLAG Bernie's current president, and I'm here to talk about the continued growth and opportunity in Bernie ISD. Teachers are standing up for their students, holding bullies accountable, and students are starting to speak out. This is huge. Keep that momentum going. But let me share with you this current national statistic. 64% of bullied LGBTQ students who report an incident say that school officials did nothing in response or that they were told to ignore it. The majority of LGBTQ students who experience severe bullying usually do nothing out of lack or fear of retaliation or lack of action. Doing nothing does not promote trust and tends to push a student away from reporting any issue. Bullying is still a huge issue in Bernie ISD, not just for LGBTQ students, but for all students. Tuesday, October 20th is Spirit Day, or Anti-Bully Day for the LGBTQ+ community. We wear purple to be a visible, supportive presence. Join us by wearing purple. Kindness and acceptance of oneself and others starts at home. This I know, and I have witnessed more hate from middle school students and random high school students and occasional parents while standing at Main Plaza or out and about doing advocacy work. These actions are taught and learned somewhere. Your children are always watching. The world is a cruel enough place. Start showing your students and children that differences are what help make the world grow, and compassion and understanding are what help make this world beautiful. Be the change you wish to see, even if it makes you uncomfortable. Sometimes some of the greatest growth comes from us challenging ourselves to be better people all around. Remember, our children are watching. Thank you.
Thank you, Susanna. And our next speaker is Mr. Paul Kirtley.
Thank you for this forum. I'm going to address a subject that's very close to my heart. It's something very close to our family. Over recent years, my wife and I parented 7 children, 7 amazing children, through the Bernie schools. We have no regrets, and we brag about this school district often. One of our children, however, was gay. He faced unique challenges at school in terms of bullying. I ask you as leaders within our community that you be aware of an important event you just heard about this Thursday. It's not on the school calendar, but there's something you can do, and that's wear purple. I think that should be a very easy thing for all of you to do. As you know, bullying threatens students' physical and emotional safety at school, and that can negatively impact their ability to learn. LGBTQ youth experience significant bullying that undermines their mental and physical state. In recent years, my wife was ordained. She did that in part to ensure that LGBTQ youth who were at risk would have a safe place within the church. I'm here to talk about public schools bullying and a project known as the Trevor Project in this year, 2022, conducted a national survey on LGBTQ youth mental health. They captured the experiences of 34,000 LGBTQ youth, ages 13 to 24 across the nation. Among the survey's many important findings, it concluded that LGBTQ youth who found that their school to be LGBTQ affirming reported lower rates of attempted suicide. LGBTQ youth who live in a community that is accepting of them reported significantly lower rates of attempting suicide. In conclusion, it is important that we understand that that LGBTQ are not inherently prone to suicide risk because of their sexual orientation or identity, but rather they are placed at higher risk because of how they are mistreated and stigmatized.
Thank you, Mr. Kirtley. Okay, that concludes our public comments section of the meeting. And our next topic, item 7, is the consent agenda. If I could entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Wilson, a second from Ms. Gonzalez Cooper. Any questions or thoughts on the consent agenda? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. All righty, so item number 8 on the agenda, we've got the governance board member reports. Let's start off on my left. Maritza, any updates? Okay, Jessica.
Email, short meeting, and for BEF, we're honoring heroes in the community on First Responder Appreciation Night, November 4th at November 4th, 7 o'clock at BISD Stadium. It's a football game, Bernie High School versus Fredericksburg. We've done really great over the years with Yvette Reyna collecting cans of corn, and she's going to be accepting donations until November the 11th, so we need to bring our cans of corn in as soon as possible. Giving Day is already on the website, and it takes place on November 15th, and then, of course, ladies and gents, you can buy your ladies tickets or join us. There was men there before. December 1st at 6 p.m. is Purse Mania, and the tickets sold out really quickly last year. So be ready for that, and that's our BEF update.
Thanks, Jessica. Garrett.
The Finance Committee did not meet this month. As far as the Legislative Committee, we did have a thing that Mr. Senna and I did where we did a podcast for Bernie Radio with Baron Wiley, which was a lot of fun, and I'd encourage everybody to go listen to all 16 minutes of it and hear Mr. Senna talk about, the legislative history of the district so well.
And Mr. Wilson, with your comments, we were a good tag team, I think,
Yeah, it was fun. We had a good time. So.
It was fun. And Baron Wiley's a very good interviewer. He makes you feel at ease. And sometimes when you feel at ease, you say things maybe you shouldn't. But in this case, we didn't say anything we shouldn't, so it was not a problem. We kept to the script, Yeah. Okay. Carlin. Okay, Donna. Joe.
And this period is the Ag Barn Committee. That's still going great. Just want to point out we have, in addition to a cat and all our wonderful staff running that, we've got community involvement from the county agent, Mr. Zeller. We got Mrs. Bergman, Kevin, who was here earlier. We've got the Thomasons. I think it's really going great because it's an insane amount of work to go from nothing to housing animals 24/7, and we've got all the right problems, which is there's no more space, which is spectacular. And just one thing I want to point out, pretty much all those projects in that barn are kids who don't have an opportunity to raise an animal without it. That's why it's there. So it's not like a nice facility to help people who already have access to a lot of things. It's to help kids who really want to be involved in ag but don't have any opportunity. The other thing I want to point out and thank is all of our maintenance side of the house, the work that's been done over there to bring it up to speed and how fast it's been brought up to speed, and security cameras, lights, rehabbing. So it really is an unbelievable amount of work. And the last thing I'll ask is for everyone's continued patience, because it's amazing how fast we've come, but it is a new thing, and it's going to be nuts for a while until everything gets running smooth. So please just have a little grace as we work it out. But I think it's really spectacular. So thanks to all y'all.
Very good, thank you. And lastly, the transportation, the Kendall County, City of Bernie, Fair Oaks Ranch Transportation Committee has finally come to a close. Actually, you can believe it. The report was unanimously approved, and it's been printed up. If I had known it would be a 3-year committee, I don't know that I would have volunteered to join, but nonetheless, it's finished. There's a lot of good ideas in there. It very much was a bottom-up process and not top-down. And when I say top-down, when the concerns about the gateway were expressed throughout our community, it was because it was perceived that TxDOT was trying to force something, a regional solution on a local Bernie community. And that was the feeling of a number of residents. So the whole point behind the committee was that it be organic. homegrown, and there were probably 200 different ideas shared from citizens in the community who offered ideas of what should be included. They were thoroughly reviewed and discussed and debated, and the report was put together. I don't know that it solves regional concerns, but it certainly has a lot of things in there that will help mitigate local traffic and enhance mobility. And now it's up to the city and the county to see what they're going to do about it, because this citizens committee is just a committee to come up with ideas. And the city is having a bond election on November 8th, of which the majority of it is going towards roads. The county has a different bond election, but that's something those two governmental entities will have to deal with and address as time goes along. So that's an update on that. So I guess that's it for board reports. So Dr. Price, you're up.
All right, I just have a few quick updates. Start with November 16th is our next parent panel. We've had two. We did the first one on fentanyl. Second one was cyber danger. We had about 70 at each. We are planning to bring back, we had an open date in the spring, and we're going to bring back some of these topics, kind of a larger panel to review, because we've had some interest from people who weren't able to go to the live sessions. November 16th is sex trafficking. All of these really, if you look, they build on each other. The cyber danger, the sex trafficking, a lot of that's done on sex trafficking through cyber world, and fentanyl is involved in quite a bit of that. So it's really building on, and what we're trying to do at this point, we're targeting our community, but we need to look in-house at our teachers and staff and kind of do the same type of training for them so that they can recognize some of those dangers too. So we're working on that plan. Want to give you some good news. Governor Abbott's external intrusion detection audit. That's the surprise audit where somebody in plain clothes would show up at campuses and check doors. Ours happened. The way they do this is they go to a campus unannounced, and they check they check 3 outside entrances. If all 3 are secure, then they go to the office through the front. If they find an entrance, then they try to make their way through, again unannounced, and see if anybody stops them and checks to see if they have a badge or some kind of paperwork to say they should be inside the building. Once they get to the office, they review the paperwork that we're required to keep about our logs. And what our principals are required to do, and this is on top of everything else, they're required to check all doors every week, and we have to log those, and we have to keep those so that when we are audited, we can share those. And plus, I believe Elaine takes them all up, and we have to send all that information into the state. Once they get to the principal, they review the log. Then when our rule is interior doors are also to be secured, they don't go to every single door, but they do a random sampling, just walking around. And I can say that we passed with flying colors, which is good. It's a lot of preparation. But remember, the one thing I will go back to on the door locking, this is something we started prior to COVID. When the tragedy at Santa Fe came up, that was one of our solutions. And I do believe during COVID, maybe we got a little bit lax on some things. So this was us going back to what we said we were going to do before and inspecting what we expected out there. So that's some real good news for us. And the last thing I want to share, this is new to Bernie ISD. We have our first water polo team, and both the girls and the boys champion water polo team advanced. The girls ran into some trouble the first round, but the boys are still going. They play tomorrow here in San Antonio against Alamo Heights, your favorite team. And And if they advance, they play Friday and Saturday in the regionals, and after that, they go to state. So this is real quick. They have done a remarkable job for the first year of a sport, and no matter where they land, we need to be proud of both teams, but be a little bit more prouder if they make it all the way to state, and we can be there to share with them some pictures and passing out some hardware. It's getting to be a fall winter type of renewed celebration every year with soccer and basketball and football and volleyball, that our students are doing well, not only, as you saw today, academically, more students than ever being commended, but also on the court. You know, we say we want the whole child experience. We're doing a fantastic job with that. And the key part, when you talk about that, this is the first year of our early college, our P-TECH, and I'll still go back to a lot of school districts when they start a P-TECH or an early college experience. They make kids at 14 choose a pathway, and if they choose the pathway of early college, they don't get to participate in extracurriculars. And we intentionally made that decision that we want that whole child experience. We don't want you to give up band. We don't want you to give up cheerleading. If you want that P-TECH, that early college experience, we're going to work it out. It's a little bit more difficult, and Larissa can attest to the scheduling issues, but when we go back to our decisions are based on what's best for our children, I think that's a prime example. So it's been a good month of October. And remember, Monday is homecoming parade.
I just had one question on the inspections. If I understand correctly, those could also occur at different campuses and different times throughout the year. So it's not like we passed and we're done with them, correct?
No, this is the first wave, and because of the program, there was some rumors that it was going to be one and done. Well, they let us know this past week that, those were rumors. They're going to continue to do that throughout the year. They kind of bit off more than they could chew in saying that they would go to every campus by Christmas.
You mean the state biting off more? Okay.
Not us. We bite what we can chew and we swallow. But we're going to make sure that we continue to be vigilant, that we check doors and build on our trainings with our teachers. Remember, we're going from alert to crease, and that's going great. And now what that exactly means, I think you're going to have to look at our SROs and Rick to tell you what the difference is. But we're doing a lot more trainings than what we could do during COVID the past couple of years.
Thank you.
Very good.
You know, before you move on, Tom, you mentioned Santa Fe. Just made me think back Friday before last. I don't know who all was involved, but the Bernie High School Uvalde football game was a really, really special moment. So kudos to you, Mr. Wilson, I'm sure Coach Leach and Coach Hendricks. And I know the Booster Club had a huge part in that too, and Mr. Goodrich. So
it was a real community event. We say it over and over again that we're a reflection of our community's values. And I think that evening, under those oaks, what our community, our parents did, our booster clubs, our students did, the compassion we showed was just, that's our community. And I could tell you they walked away very thankful. And this isn't like the first game this year. This is 6th, 7th game. They hadn't had that experience before. I think people did neat things for them, but this was, just like whenever somebody comes into your home, you feed them, and that's what we're taught when we're kids by our parents. Bring them in, you give them some of your food, you share, and now we went out and beat them, but that's a different part of the game.
Any other questions for Dr. Price? Okay, thanks, Dr. Price. Yes.
Voting starts on the 24th.
That's right, it does. Monday the 24th goes on for 2 weeks.
Homecoming parade.
Yeah. Well, I usually go 8:30, 9 o'clock day one, my theory always is if the Lord takes me home that night, I'll have spoken my piece. You know, that's my attitude. So okay, all right. Next is Ms. Flores. You're up.
Good evening, Mr. President, Dr. Price, and members of the board. Tonight I bring to you the annual bilingual and ESL report that includes our programming state assessment scores for our emerging bilingual students. The information I'll be sharing with you tonight ties directly to our scorecard and our goals under student success for all students. The EB program types offered in BISD are two, dual language and ESL, English as a second language. We offer two types of bilingual education programs through dual language immersion. Our one-way program, which serves students identified as emerging bilinguals in both English and Spanish. We have bilingual pre-K units at Currington, Fabra, and HERF, and these teachers that service these students must be certified in bilingual education. We also offer a dual language two-way program at Currington, Fabra, HERF, and Kendall for students K through 5 for both native Spanish and native English speakers. This program model, in which students identified as English learners are integrated with students proficient in English, and they're served in both languages and are prepared to meet reclassification criteria to be successful in English-only instruction. The goal of the two-way dual language program is for students to attain full proficiency in another language as well as English. We also offer ESL content-based and pull-out programs to support emerging bilinguals in languages other than Spanish. And the goal of content-based and pull-out ESL is for English learners to attain full proficiency in English to participate equitably in school. For content-based, it's in the 4 core areas, and our pull-out is for reading instruction only. Teachers must be certified in ESL in order to work with these students. Our current enrollment for 22-23 as of today is 722 students. Now, this includes currently served, parent denials, and students that are on our monitored system. In the spring of 2022, we were able to reclassify 19 of those students to monitored status. In order to reclassify a student, they must meet certain criteria. 1, they must score an advanced high on the TELPUS in the 4 domains. They must pass the STAR reading in English with no linguistic accommodations, and of course through teacher recommendation. Also note that according to research, it may take 3 to 5 years for a student to develop oral proficiency and 5 to 7 years to develop academic language. So to be able to reclassify students is a good thing.
The question, the 722 emerging bilingual, does that include, is that just students that are conversant in non-English, or does that include our English-based students?
That is not our non-ELs that are in our dual language program. This is only emerging bilingual students, parent denials, and those that have been reclassified. But under the accountability system, they still count.
Chris, I have a question. So the reclassified, the 19, I know that's huge for us, right? Because I think in years past it was pretty low.
It's minimal, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And so do you know what percentage of the kids, I guess it's 19 of the 594 that we had last year?
Correct.
Is that what that is? Okay. And what are y'all doing differently to try to, are y'all testing more, or how is it that you're able to increase that number?
It goes back to LPAC, the system that each campus must use in order to monitor the progress of the students, and they really are taking care and making sure that they're making the right instructional decisions for students. It's not just a blanket, this is what we need to do for all. It's individualized. So I think that's something that we've been focusing on this year.
Fantastic. And so do you know if these kids, I guess, are they mainly middle school and high school, or?
Our goal is right between 4th to 7th grade to reclassify, because after that point, they're still monitored for 4 years for the federal accountability. So, we can reclassify in high school, but it's kind of, you reach a point where it might not be the best option for the student.
Okay, thank you.
In Bernie ISD, we do service, have a total of 19 different languages of our students that are served and represented here. So that's Interesting. 19 different languages other than Spanish. And our waivers. We file for waivers for teachers who are not ESL certified and are serving our emerging bilingual students. As you can see, we have done a great job of decreasing the number of waivers needed because we've really pushed for our teachers to get ESL certified. And on that bottom line, you can see where we've increased the number of reimbursements. So a teacher will take the ESL test, and when they pass it, we reimburse them for the cost of the test.
So is that 125 in addition to the 58 from the prior year, or is that a total number?
That's correct. We reimbursed quite a bit of money.
So we have 125 new ESL teachers this
So
year.
remember, it kind of lags it a year, the data does. So this is from 21, fall of 21, all through summer of 22. That's being recorded there.
Okay, thanks.
Our exceptions, we do file for exceptions for students who are not bilingual certified and are serving our emerging bilingual students in our dual language program. And we do have a couple of teachers. It's been extremely difficult this last year in order to find qualified dual language teachers. Moving on to state assessment data for emerging bilinguals. There's 2 tests, of course, our STAR exam and TELPAS. All emerging bilingual students must take the Texas English Language Proficiency Assessment System and the TELPAS alternate to assess the progress in learning the English language. The test has 4 domains: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. The Federal Accountability System sets the progress target at 36%, which means that 36% of our EB students need to show progress from one year to the next in all 4 of those domains. These 4 domains for our students in grades K1 are graded holistically by their classroom teacher. But for our students in grades 2 through 12, the listening, speaking, and reading tests were online, while the writing test was rated holistically by their classroom teachers. Now, this will be changing for 2023. All 4 domains will be assessed online this year. So in 2022, 38% of our EB students made progress, which is a decline from the year before, but I will note in 2021, the state did calculate TELPAS progress differently due to COVID. Any questions?
Yeah, actually, the 36%, that's a state target. Is that a state target?
That's a federal. The federal,
It's a federal target.
Government sets that target.
Okay.
This is in domain 3.
And
our state accountability system.
Statewide, do you know like how we compare to the state average?
I will have to check on that. I don't have that with me.
Okay.
When it comes to STAR, in 2022, the federal government again set standards for all populations of students in reading and mathematics. For reading, the target for our all student group was 44% at the meets grade level or above, and the target for our emerging bilingual students was 29%. In 2022, we exceeded the target in both in the subject of reading, which is great because in the years past, we had not met that target. So this is a good improvement. And in math, the target for our all student group is 46%. In our EB population, the target is 40%. In 2022, we exceeded the target in both groups. Again, in years past, we had not been able to meet that target, so this is good.
Yeah, a question. Notice that the gap between reading and math, both the targets and the actual achievement is a lot narrower. Is that because math is kind of a universal subject where reading?
There's less linguistic.
Yes.
Yes. Less reading, I guess, on the math. So there are several items that we've implemented here in BISD across the district to support our emerging bilingual population. The number one thing that we've done is added emerging bilingual instructional coaches at our secondary campuses. So these EB coaches work 50% with students and 50% with teachers, working with them during PLC time to help them with instructional strategies. They also work with students one-on-one as push and support to those students that need it. A couple of other things that we've invested in and purchased supplemental resources such as Rosetta Stone, which is used with our students, secondary students who are in their first 3 years in the U.S. schools, and also Summit K-12, which we use as a TELPAS practice platform. So they're able to practice because the TELPAS test is very different than taking a STAR assessment. So they do need to practice that. As far as student and family engagement this year, we will participate in the elementary 3-5 and middle school 6-8 level Region 20 Spanish Spelling Bee as we have in years past. And we will continue to partner with Patrick Heath Public Library for family events to support students and families. And here noted on the slide are the upcoming events that we have. I will now take any questions, but that completes my annual report for bilingual ESL programming.
I was curious on, there was 19 languages I think you listed on there that we have in the district. How does the district and then the students that have those various languages, how do they even start to learn, right? I mean, it would be so tough, because I mean, obviously we have a lot of teachers that speak Spanish, so that's, probably a little more straightforward, but if somebody that's Mandarin or something like that, how do you?
That is definitely an area for growth for us in this area, but it starts with sheltered instruction, and there's instructional strategies that our teachers and professional learning that our teachers undergo in order to at least bridge some of those gaps. But I can definitely see in a few years we are going to be needing some extra language support.
And one of the hard things for the students, and this goes all the way back a long time ago when I was teaching the classroom, multiple different languages in the Beaumont area, and they still were taking that same test everybody else is taking. We have the ability to have certain grades below 5th to take it in Spanish, if they can read Spanish. It helps. That's a choice. That's the LPAC makes that, but there's no choice if you are Mandarin, Polish. I had a Polish student in my class. It's a real challenge of trying to meet their needs and get them up to level and par with everybody else.
Thank you. I was going to make just one comment in line with the languages. Made me think about it. One, I appreciate you mentioned that, because I think there's a lot of times if you're in the numbers a lot, there's some characteristics of our community you might miss unless you're in the numbers a lot. One, that we would have that many languages. Two, I don't know what it is now, but as a last snapshot, I think we're about 30% Hispanic enrollment in the district, and even in this community. There's, some of the oldest families in this community are Hispanic communities, which I don't think is what comes to people's minds first. Also, some of the oldest families, most of them aren't here anymore, were African American. And one thing that I just think is fascinating, if you get, I know some of our elementary school kids learn about it and what the Royal School was off over Hosack, but Google around a little bit on that and things like freedom colonies that were around here, and also a really, really cool place is Wren Cemetery off 474. Just Google it later and look it up. It's a really fascinating part of our history that I don't think a lot of people know about. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Larissa. Okay, Wes, I think you're up next. We have a hearing, do we not?
It's really not. In recent presentations, I've really been coached to go into more detail and take my time. Did you guys get the new slides I sent? The 164.
Is that your joke? Is that your joke, Wes?
That's the best that I could come up on short notice. Yes, we do have a public hearing on the financial integrity rating system of Texas. This is the been in place since adopted by the legislature. I control the screen, don't I? All right. Okay, this year we got a superior rating with a score of 94, excuse me. That's up a couple of points. 92 last year. This screen in front of you has 9 indicators, 20 indicators in total. 9 of them are yes or no indicators. There's nothing really exciting to talk about in any of these other than if you do something like get other than an unmodified opinion on your annual financial reports, you can't have a passing grade on first. There was one indicator, number 5, on unrestricted net position that was not used. That hasn't been used since GASB 70 came into place. That replaced the actuarial liability for TRS care on district financial statements. Nobody has a positive unrestricted net equity since. Next, we have the remaining 11 indicators that have point totals. I guess the thing that's interesting here, indicator number 8 is where we are at. It brought us down to a score of 94. The current assets over current liabilities ratio. That's simply we don't have of the based on 2021 financial results. Right? We hardly had any bond placers. I did a using this template with 21, 22 information. I hadn't ran it through just to see how we'd come out. We actually came up to 96. Anticipate barring any sold some bonds and have a that ratio come back up. Indicator.
Can I ask a question on that? Talking about the dubious. If I remember right, on this particular indicator, the 169, the only getting 4 out of 10 points has nothing to do with that number is 16952. It has to do that it's lower than 198 the previous year and that it decreased.
They do it on they took a year, and I can't remember which year it was. It was like 2017. The current asset to current liability ratio of all districts across the state, and the high ones get 10 and the low ones get 1. Depends on where you fall in the range. It really doesn't speak.
And so we just happened to get our bonds sold. We put a ton of money
Yeah.
in the bank. Nothing has changed really financially at all, structurally.
Yeah.
But now that number looks better.
Yeah.
Okay. Just got it.
It's the indicator number 9. We'd actually, if we, that's general revenues versus expenditures, which it says that you have more budgeted revenues versus expenditures. That doesn't speak anything to fiscal management. We would that was lower in the last couple of years. We'd actually get less points on that indicator, but it's mitigated by the fact that we have cash on. Indicator number 11, we'd get 4 points if we weren't a fast growth district. But you qualify as a fast growth district if you grow more than 7% over 5 years. We were at 16%. Number 12 is the difference between last year and this year. You get if that ratio is less than 4, you get 4 points. If it's over 4, you get less points. And that ratio came up for us as values. All right. Let's see. This is 2021. So we didn't go anywhere, so there's nothing to, this primarily shows as you travel on behalf of the district to conduct district business. If you stay in a hotel room or eat a meal, and we're going to reimburse you for that. But nobody went anywhere. It's boring. We also have to disclose in our report that's out on our website any outside compensation for Dr. Price. Gifts were received by the board of the superintendent. Transactions between business transactions between the board and the district. There were superintendent's contract, which is also a requirement of first. We fell in with about 86% of the other districts in getting a superior rating this year. This is the 11th year in a row. That 2011 was the last year that we did not get a superior rating. I just out of curiosity, I went back and looked at that report. We didn't get a superior because one of the requirements at that time was you earn at least $20 in investment earnings student. It does not. Yes, March 2011 had in the 86%. That's an increase from the prior year. I expect that as stated pre-COVID that they intended to make this more bell curve. So telling you about the points that we could have had purpose, because they could make some very slight changes that would say we weren't superior, that really has nothing to do with how well we this. With that, that is my presentation.
Before we go into the hearing, we get to ask some questions, though, correct?
Shoot.
Yeah. What's the ramifications? There are only 8 districts out of 1,019 that got an F.
Yes.
Substandard achievement. What are the ramifications for those 8 districts?
I'm not aware of any action.
Some of the consolidated, it's not because of scores. Most of those consolidations has been because of finances. So I know of a couple in the Houston area had miserable scores for a long, long time, and the state took no action until this came around, and that's when they consolidated.
Gotcha. Okay. And the other thing under number 6 was regarding fund balance. Now we are where we need to be on that. Perhaps you could explain the importance and the logic of the need to have an adequate fund balance.
The most important thing in fund balance is that as a junior end, there's the district receives little to no revenue in the July, August, September time frame. We still have payrolls, we still have vendors to pay, and that portion isn't entirely representative of cash, but for the most part it is.
Now, I know there are some districts that have 6 and 9 month fund balances, which we often wonder, like, why would you have that much? Now, we know why 3 months is adequate, because we send the appraisal district sends out the tax bills in early October, and we're one of the handful, 10, 15 districts that give the 3% discount out, so the cash comes in October. The escrow companies understand what's going on. Those of us that don't have mortgages, we want that 3%, so the cash comes in. But if you're a school district that does not offer a discount, which is like 99% of the districts, their cash may not come in till November or December, January. So, I mean, how is that handled in some of those places?
Actually, the best practice promoted by TASBO for junior ends is 6 months. Yeah, it's great that we don't need that.
Any other questions for Mr. Scott? Okay, so it's 7:44, so we will open up the public hearing where anyone can come up and address the board with comments regarding the first report. Would anyone like to do so? Mr. Robinson, you were okay. Okay. All right. So, it doesn't look, well, it's still 7:44. So, I mean, it doesn't look like anybody wants to come up. So, at 7:44, we'll close the public hearing. Okay. So, and there is no need to pass this. This was a report only. Is that correct, Wes? Okay. So we've gotten through that. All right. And you're still up because you're going to go over the monthly report, financial report.
I am. You've been provided the results of operations for the district through September 30th. That's a quarter through the year, and this will be the last year very low revenue watching the receipts from property tax. I think the things that are really of note in this report, you get the nutrition fund, that's showing that they're a little bit above break even right now. Surpassed my expectation at this point in time. Didn't think that they would do it as early as they have. That is of note. One minor thing to discuss in this report that you can't see very easily. On the consent agenda, you had the quarterly investment report that showed at about $100,000. Compare that to last year. That's the same quarter. We had about $3 time. Those rates we were looking at less than 0.1. 3. That's going to be a ad that we didn't anticipate to this point in time, and who knows what happened to the market. I don't have any other comments on the September report, but
Questions for Mr. Scott? Yeah, on the child nutrition fund, I noticed that it looks like from a revenue point of view, we're doing fairly well. Now, last year, we had the federal government program that expired, where our participation in the food service program went way, way up. Have we seen an increase? I don't expect it to be at as high a level as it was last year, but have we seen an increase over maybe 2 years ago? Is there any trends to suggest that?
No, I haven't. It's a good question. I haven't taken a look at that at this point in time, but I'm happy to do that and send out the report.
Because last year, with the surplus that we ran, we were able to repay back the money that had gone from the general fund the previous year to cover the COVID loss. Yeah, okay. And you're saying that our next month's report, we should see the infusion of property tax collections.
Yeah. Historically, we collect about 80% of our levy.
Yeah. Any questions for Mr. Scott? We do need a motion to approve the financial report. Garrett, you have a motion?
Is it on?
It's on.
Okay, there it is. I move to approve the budget amendments, donation report, and tax collection report as presented.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Okay, at this point, we are at item 11 on our agenda, which is future business items. Our next meeting will be November 14th, our regular business meeting, where we'll review and approve the district financial audit, appraisal, district board of directors, casting votes on that. Those are the main items. So with that having been said, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Oh, a lot of people are moving that. I don't know who got the word out first. Who wants to second it? Oh, I heard Maritz's voice. Okay. All those in favor say aye. Okay, opposed. Okay, motion, we are adjourned.